What is good, y'all? Welcome to Let's Cap, first one of the season. Man, it's been a while. Munaf and Chris haven't chopped it up with you guys on video in a while. How you guys doing? How's NBA treating you? Munaf, start with you, man.
Yeah, NBA has been pretty good this season. I feel like no, we usually take like the first couple weeks to gather some data points and really kind of scale back on your unit size, and that's exactly what I did until we got more data points, under our belts at least over the first 2 weeks. But and yeah, NBA has been pretty good, having a pretty decent week. So hopefully we can find some more winners here on Let's Cap and give it out to the listeners, man.
Yes, sir. How about you, Chris? How's everything going?
Yeah, everything's going good. I think so far seen the boy pretty well. I wish I would have saw that the Warriors weren't gonna play a lick of defense last night, so I could have just took the team total under versus the full game under, and that was the only play that I gave it yesterday. So I did go 0-1, but it was the first, I think, negative day of the week so far, which is always a good thing when you reach Friday. So looking to kind of keep it going, like said. RC, let's get into the slate, man. Let's see if you know how to be a host again, because it's been a while.
Yeah, man. Like the NBA season has been good. I had 1 week, I had a like rough patch last week, but everything's bounced back. I've hit 15 of my last 19 in the NBA, so I'm feeling good about it. Overall in the regular season, hitting over 58%. So yeah, man, seeing the board really well. The model is starting to kick in. I usually wait till the 20 game mark around there to use all the in-season data and kind of get rid of projections and shit like that. But yeah, the model is kicking and is going to be underway pretty soon. I think every team has gone over the 10 game mark at this point. But yeah, man, let's get into this slate here. First one up is the Bucks and the Hornets. I'm gonna start sharing my screen again. Damn, I missed this shit, guys. I miss this so much. All right. So first, so we got the Bucks and the Hornets. Injury report is kind of funky on this one, guys. Hornets questionable. You got Hayward, Miller. Out is Rozier, and Telekina, Booknight, Cody Martin. Like they're just missing a whole bunch of guards and wings. But do you guys expect any of those guys to play, or how are you guys looking at this game? I know. I see Giannis is questionable as well on this injury report. Jay Crowder out. Marjan Beauchamp is questionable as well. Back to back, I think both of these teams on first leg of back to backs. But how are you guys looking at it, Chris? Start with you.
Yeah, you mentioned a couple of the factors that really didn't want to make me get too involved in this game. I also think back to like the Bucks. They're coming off the win I want to say they ended up the line ended up flipping with Giannis being rolled out, and Toronto ended up being favored. So they ended up winning the game, I think, by 16 points without Giannis being available, and Damian Lillard had a pretty big game in that one. Like you said, this one makes it kind of difficult to cap, RC, because if you're the Bucks and you got Giannis dealing with that, I think it's an ankle injury or a lower leg injury at least. Do you feel like you really need him in this spot, because they do play Dallas tomorrow? Mm-hmm. So first leg of back to back, that kind of makes me a little hesitant. Also, Brandon Miller, Gordon Hayward, also like you said, listed as questionable. Yeah. I think Miles Bridges is supposed to return in this game. Correct me if I'm wrong, right? Okay, I see him shaking his head. Yep. And then for the Hornets as well, RC, first and another back-to-back. They got the Knicks tomorrow. I think I kind of lean first half over, just because both of these teams are top 5 offensively in the last 5 games. But I do want those guys to be in. And neither one of the teams are top 10 defensively. So I think, we see pace in this one. We know Charlotte's been playing at one of the fastest pace in the league. But I didn't have anything official. I think until we get the injury news, I kind of like halfway cap these games and look for spots. But, you definitely want to have that information before you're making those plays, because it's going to impact the number, whether it's in your favor or not. And that's something that me and you've been talking about offline, RC. So no official play for me in this one. I think we need that injury information. But, I do kind of think we see points early. And also, RC, real quick, wasn't there a trend we were looking at with both teams on the first leg of back-to-backs, maybe like in the conference game last season? I'm not sure if that's something that comes into play in this spot or not. But, those are my thoughts on the game.
I feel like we did have something like that. I could look it up. But, Munaf, did you have anything on this game specifically?
Yeah, nothing specific. I mean, like everything Chris mentioned, I'm not going to regurgitate everything. It's just everything's based on that injury report, right? Like we know if Giannis is going to play or not, and especially for the Hornets, Gordon Hayward's questionable. Brandon Miller is on that report as well. So I didn't have anything official for this game. If I would lean, I'd agree with Chris. We'll probably see points early in this game. But yeah, nothing official for me in this game.
All right. Well, I think well, my model doesn't really account for like injuries and stuff like that, but the original model has it at 124 to 113. But obviously with all the question marks, it's funky. Plus the first leg of back-to-back games that also adjusts the points a little bit as well. Looking at first leg of back-to-back for both teams since 2018, home dogs, slight edge to the road favorites, and then also to the over here. Bucks, Nuggets, 2 times so far this season, to the road favorite and also to the under though. The only way that I could look is probably towards like a Bucks team total over type way. Not really focusing on the spread or the full game total. Full game total went up a lot already. But we already know that what is it, NBA? The defensive rating for the Hornets, I feel like they're like dead last, I think. Yeah, they're dead last. And then they play with a bit of pace too. And then we see the Bucks up there too, top 10 in pace. This could be a situation where you just focus on one side. And even without Giannis, I feel like this is a situation they should be able to score. I think if you look at scoring wise, a lot of the points come from the 3, 4. I thought it was 3 for Milwaukee. Yeah, right here. So 35% from 3 for Milwaukee. And I believe their defense, perimeter defense for Hornets, they're giving up a good chunk, 38% from 3. So I'm pretty sure even if without Giannis, I think the Milwaukee's probably going to focus in from the perimeter and the 3-point line. And if they're able to make those, they should get up and over their team total. It's not something I went official with or anything like that, but that would probably be the way that I look at it. All right, let's go on to the next one here.
Real quick.
Yeah,
Honestly, can I know, if the prop guy, can I ask him about LaMelo in this spot? We know we've been attacking guards against this Bucks defense. LaMelo points prop sitting at 25.5. No juice, minus 110 on points bet. And he's going over the 25.5 in back-to-back games against the Knicks and the Heat, which are, better defenses. Yeah. And he had 25 against the Knicks and a blowout. 25 against the Wizards, but 34 and 30. So 4 for 5 to the over in his last 5 games since he's kind of been lifted off that minute restriction, kind of finding his legs and shooting it at least 47% in 4 or 5 of those games as well. Do you think we just attack him, especially if those guys are out?
I think you have to, right? Like he's pretty much your offense. As far as scoring points, I'm trying to put up the box score for some of these Charlotte games and see how or who else has been scoring for them. But I mean, like you mentioned, like Miami defensively, I know this was either last season or season prior, like they were pretty good against the point guard position, but it's been LaMelo Ball, it's been PJ Washington in the last game. I mean, you're starting guys like JT Thor and Theo Maledon and Mark Williams. I mean, they're not really going to give you a lot, especially scoring wise. So, yeah, I mean, I can't argue against it. I think it's either LaMelo Ball or if you want to pivot to a PJ Washington as well, maybe look at PJ Washington threes because he likes to get them up as well. So, yeah, I can't argue again. Maybe points and assists combined if you want to look at it that way for LaMelo. But, I couldn't talk you off.
I like it. As that Warrior mentioned, Giannis talked about defense, and you can kind of see. I kind of want to find a play on this, but if you look at the Bucks, their defense has been a little bit better the last 3 games, right? Slightly lower than the opponent's team total. And the Hornets dealing with a lot of injuries. It seems like maybe they struggle offensively, but I'll probably just stay away. I'm just forcing it at this point. Let's move on to the next one. Knicks. I didn't even finish this banner. Knicks against, who are they playing?
Wizards.
Washington. Yeah, that's right. Yeah, Knicks versus Wizards. You guys have anything on this one, Muna?
I was looking at the Knicks team total to go over in this game. just really fading the Washington's defense here. I know we were the scales on or watching a ski show. I know they post trends in there as well, but I feel like we take a look at, we just talked about the Charlotte defense, how bad that defense is. I mean, Washington has been a little bit better on the defensive side, at least over the last 5 games. But I mean, you take a look at what they've just given up in their home games thus far this season. They're giving up 121.5 points per game. The only team that didn't get over this projection of 115.5 was the Grizzlies, who we know offensively are it's pretty much Desmond Bain, and you're hoping to get contributions from someone else. Where I feel like this Knicks team, they've improved on the offensive side. I believe over the last 5 games, they are the number 2 offensive rated team. The only thing that does make me nervous about this is that who's going to dictate the pace, because the Knicks are one of the slowest, if not the slowest team as far as pace goes. And then Washington, we know they like getting up and down the floor. They're not very efficient at it as far as scoring points and being efficient, but I do like the Knicks. I looked at their team total to go over in this spot.
Yeah, I like that a lot actually, just because I think, I don't know if I was talking to you, Chris, about this or some other guys, maybe Punt School, but I noticed with the Knicks, when they face these weak defenses, they go up and over their team total, and they really dominate those types of matchups. Obviously you see the Hawks here, they scored 116, Hornets 129, Spurs 126.
Yeah.
Go back up here, the Hawks 126. So a lot of these teams that struggle defensively, they're really dominating. And I started that. I think I started it right here. I noticed they were playing some tough defenses. Obviously, the Bucks is, I don't know why they didn't score a lot of points there, but the other teams, I noticed the Hawks, they scored 126, and they played a whole bunch of good defenses. So when I went here against the Spurs and Hornets, I figured that they should be able to dominate, and they did. So I've actually played the Knicks team total over against bottom 10 defensive rated teams since then. Yeah. And so that's 3-0, and I think they do it again here for the next couple of games here, even Wizards and Hornets tomorrow. So those are the ways that I actually took. My book doesn't allow me to do team total overs the night before, so I actually took the spread at -6. But I'm probably gonna throw some on the team total over against the Wizards here today. Chris, you have anything on this one? Oh, I see something.
Yeah. Took the thunder. I'm right there with y'all on the team total. I played it last night. I got it at 116.5, -120 on BetMGM. BetMGM actually has the totals out, the team totals out the night before for people that are interested in kind of looking for those. But it's for all the reasons that you guys said. I see the first and the biggest one for me was this Knicks team can really struggle to score. I think a lot of it starts with Julius Randle and just his inconsistencies on the offensive end. But if you look at him against the against the non-defensive teams, this was one of the reasons why I took the Knicks on the money line against the Atlanta Hawks was, when they're playing against the teams that don't play defense, they just get up and down the floor. And I think that they continue to do that. I'm not sure how much they'll be, concerned about their defense. I know Tom Thibodeau will be preaching it. I think S-Dot put in the chat, I think it was S-Dot, he says, how do we feel about the total in this game, taking the over? And the only hesitation I have is that historically, at least in the last 10 games, these teams are 3-6-1 to the over. But I just think that if the Wizards going to continue to play up and down, like they do and like they have been, I don't think the Knicks struggle to score against this team either. Kind of like what you were talking about against those teams that are bottom 10 defensively, RC. So I don't think that they struggle to score. I think it's a big Julius Randle type game because when you look at the Washington Wizards, they allow the most points in the paint. I want to say, and that's what Julius Randle kind of feasts. So I did play the team total to go over 116.5. I think it's up to 117.5 right now. Best number I saw was -110 on FanDuel for people that are still looking. I still would play that number as well. And I also played Mitchell Robinson over his rebounds in this spot as well. This is one of those, if you know, you knows. The number was up. It was at 10.5 last night when it opened. It was juiced at -135 on DraftKings. So I waited until it got to 11.5, but I like the 11.5 as well. I think you could potentially sprinkle on this triple-double. The Knicks are the best rebounding team in basketball. The Wizards are one of the worst rebounding teams in basketball. And Mitchell Robinson is one of the best rebounders in the game, which is why the Knicks are one of the best rebounding teams. So I think he has his way today if the Wizards can just keep the game close, because we did see them get blew out against the Dallas Mavericks the other day. But as long as they can keep the game close, I think Mitchell Robinson feasts on the rebounds against Youcapper down low. Probably a lot of offensive rebounds. putbacks and maybe a sprinkle on his double as well, even though I didn't quite get there on that. But I like Mitchell Robinson over the 11.5 rebounds was plus 110 on ESPN bet when I locked that in this morning.
I like that. So I think it was Free Mind that mentioned the over on this game. The only reason why I think, and probably Muna probably agrees with this, is I think the focus more so on the Knicks team total over versus the full game over is because Washington's offense is really not that efficient.
Yeah.
So just basically focusing on what you think will happen, which is the Knicks to be able to score. You kind of just get away from the question mark of which Washington offense is going to show up today. Are they going to be able to make their threes? Are they going to be efficient? With New York being one of the best defensive rated teams in the league, I feel like it would be a good idea to just kind of throw that to the side and just focus on the Knicks to score. And I think Chris touched on a couple points here on the second chance points. Washington bottom 10 in the league in allowing second chance points, and the Knicks are right there in the top four. So they got a lot of pass here. I think RJ Barrett is questionable, but I think being able to dominate in the paint like that, get second chance points, I don't think they're gonna have problems scoring in that point.
I see. I also put in the private chat just the Knicks as road favorites last season in conference games, and they play well in that spot as well. So that's a trend that kind of backs backs them covering the spread today.
I like it. All right. Yeah, 8-1 straight up, 8-1 against the spread, 5-31 to the under. But you can see that there, even this shows that the team total over is still a spot there, 6-2, the team total over. Makes sense to me. Anything else on this, guys?
Nope.
Let's move on to Pistons and Cavs. This one was tough for me. Like my model says that this should be a Piston spot to cover. I think the line is a little bit too high there. I think Cavs win this game. It just might be a little bit too high. Did you guys have anything on this one?
This one's also based off the injury report. Cavs right now, Darius Garland and Donovan Mitchell are both questionable here tonight. And then for the Pistons, I mean, it's a very long list as far as guys that are either out or questionable. Marvin Bagley questionable, and then Jalen Duren's already been ruled out. Joe Harris is out as well. Monte Morris is out as well. So this one I just simply crossed off my list. Isaac Okoro's out for the Cavs as well. So I didn't have anything for this game at all.
What about you, Chris?
Yeah, I'm right there with Munaf. It's too difficult to cap without knowing the injury report, and I'm not going to say everything that Munaf just said, but I will say this: the Cavs have dominated the Detroit Pistons. If you go through and just kind of look at the matchups, and I think that's why the line is so inflated. They've won 5 straight games, and they've won all of them by 8 points or more, and 4 straight have gone under. And this total you see trickle down as well. Detroit has lost 9 straight, so eventually you think they'd at least cover. One, I think they've only covered 2 of those as well. 3 and 7 in their last 10 against the spread. I just wrote in my notes that they could be extremely short-handed because Garland and Mitchell both potentially might not play. This is also their first game back on the East Coast, and they could have a look at his spot. They got the Denver Nuggets coming up, so I'm not sure how serious they take this game because they'll be back at home. They'll be their first game back home on Sunday when they play against Denver. I think a prop to look out for in this one, because Marvin Bagley is listed as questionable and Jalen Duren is already listed as out, is Asher Thompson. His rebounds at 9.5. If Bagley doesn't play, I do like him to be able to, go down there and battle with, Jared Allen and Evan Mobley to be able to get some rebounds. So over 9.5 rebounds would be my lean, but I would definitely wait until the official injury news kind of, settles.
That makes sense to me. Definitely the look ahead spot that you mentioned is big. Obviously, they want to show out against the Nuggets there. I just think Duren's so huge for this team that whenever he's out, I think their defense struggles, and I think it's shown that in the last few games here. But yeah, this one's a stay away from me. I would lean Detroit, especially if Mitchell and Garland are out. I think they just do enough to win the game and get on to tomorrow. Let's move on to the next one. We got Celtics and the Raptors. This one is one of those if you know type plays. And yeah, I'm not gonna lie, I took this yesterday 217, dude. I think
Yeah, you got to relax, RC. I wrote that in my notes too.
I got
too many people on the injury
I got 217, and then I was like, all right, fuck it, it's 223. I'm gonna get it again, and then it's up to 224 now. So it's still keeps going up, but my model actually has this at around 213. I think Toronto just has the length to be able to stay with the Celtics defensively. Obviously, I think offensively, Celtics are just a different tier than the Raptors. They should be able to win this game. I have the Boston winning by 9.5. So it's pretty close to the line, but I just think that this is a matchup where the Celtics could struggle a little bit, just enough to stay under the total. Obviously, with Brown and KP in, that helps both the offense and defense, in my opinion. So Raptors might struggle to score here, and I think they're one of the slower teams in the league, if I'm not mistaken. Raptors, yeah, right there, 26 in pace there. Boston right there too as well. So slow pace. We got some length that battle each other out, cancel each other out. So I was thinking that this is gonna be an under game. I took it twice. Maybe I buy out at some point. If it goes down back to 217, I'll probably take the over and just keep it. Buy out of that number at the very least. But did you guys have anything on this game?
I didn't have anything in this game. I think maybe we want to look at some rebounding props. We'll talk about props here in a second. But as far as side and total, I didn't have anything.
Chris? Nothing for me, RC, as far as the side. This is a revenge spot for Toronto. I'm not sure how much that really means because they're a little short-handed as well.
Yeah.
And the Celtics have just been, just kind of elite, like so elite so far, whether they're at home or on the road. I'm just what I wrote in my notes was just wait until everybody gets rolled in and then take the under because I knew I knew it would go up. Porzingis and Jaylen Brown both participated in shoot around today, so I think that I was just gonna wait till the number goes up and then take it once it got the the highest that we see it on the board. OG Anunoby is listed as doubtful last time I checked. That doesn't bode well for the under, but I think Toronto, off a loss and in a revenge spot, they let the Milwaukee Bucks, go over their team total by probably like 15 to 20 points the other day. So I like that the spot for the under probably more than anything.
I just looked at them as home dogs, and it points towards the over. 3-0 to the over. Not great, but obviously the Celtics better defense than the Bucks. Sixers are a good defensive team, but they definitely went under the 224 that we have here. So
Sixers caught them in a good spot, though. I see. It was the second leg of a back-to-back for them.
Gotcha. Okay. But yeah, I like the under. Did you? What props did you like on this one?
I think it was more under props. I just feel like that. I mean, you guys mentioned historically this series has gone under. Head to head. I believe Jason Tatum's 26.5 for a reason, right? We usually see his points prop around 28.5, 29.5 sometimes for Jason Tatum, but I'll probably look at Jaylen Brown to go under in this game. And I think that if we're looking at defensive props, I think that the one player that has been doing real well rebounding that's maybe not been talked about enough has been Scotty Barnes for the Toronto Raptors. If you want to look at his rebounds and assists to go over, that number's usually been around 13.5 for Scotty Barnes. I don't hate that number. I'm trying to find the current number right now for him. It's at 13.5 again. So I think this might be a game where you probably want to look at rebounds. I do like Tatum under, or sorry, Jaylen Brown under on his points, and then Barnes rebounds and assists combined over 13.5.
Gotcha. That's a good play there. Where's do you think OG is gonna play? Is he doubtful, or is he He's
doubtful.
He's doubtful. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. That makes a lot of sense then. All right. So Daniel, you said rematches right here. So this is the Raptors avenging a loss. So this capital P is the previous matchup. And then what I do is I put a capital P season equals season. So that's an in-season revenge. You don't want to do it without this, because especially early on in the season, it could mean that they're taking a revenge game from the previous season. I don't really think that's a good idea. So that's why I add the P season equals season. OP team equals Raptors. Rematch against the previous season. All right, so if you're just looking at previous matchups with that same team, you could just do O team equals Celtics, and that pulls up. If you just take this season out, it'll pull up all the previous matchups. So Raptors versus Celtics, you'll see all that. Looks like Celtics been dominating this and to the under as well. So I like that. All right, let's move on to the next game is Sixers and the Hawks. This one, last time I saw it was PK and total at 236. My model has it at exactly 236. Well, not exactly, but like 236 point something. So the total is out of the picture for me, and there was a slight lean towards I think it was Philly at -1.5. Yeah, Philly -1.5, but obviously there's some injury news on this game too, right? Isn't Embiid questionable as well? Did you guys have anything on this?
Embiid is questionable. We know Kelly Oubre is going to be out for a little bit. Batum is out as well. And then for the Hawks, pretty clean injury report. I think my first question, like, why is this line only 1 in favor of the Sixers? I thought it'd be a little bit bigger than that, but I was leaning Hawks. Nothing official for me, but I don't trust the Hawks at home.
Mm-hmm.
I think if I pick up on I think it's a Hawk spot. I see Avery put it in the chat as well.
Yeah.
Just handicapping the game. I when I saw it last night, I saw the Hawks at +1, and I was like, I'll wait until Embiid gets ruled in because I do think he'll play in this spot. But I also want to get the best line with the Hawks, so I don't want Embiid. I feel like this is a game Embiid could actually sit out because he think he's dealing with like soreness in his ribs, or he keep falling on the ground like Jay keeps saying all the time. He just can't stay up. Can't stay upright. But looking at the spot, like when I was capping this game last night, RC, it's not a good spot for the 76ers, in my estimation. You right, like Batum is not there. And I was just going through and kind of looking at, since they played against the Pacers, their first game, their points have continued to trickle down because I think the Pacers took a lot out of them. They scored 137 points in their first game. Then it went down to 126. Then they only scored 107. We know Boston is a really good defensive team. But this is a third game in 4 nights, a fourth game in 6, and a fifth game in 8 nights for Philly. It's also the first road game after 3 straight home games, and it's a triple revenge spot for Atlanta. For Atlanta, this is the third game in 4 nights as well, and they're off a loss, so you typically want to back them in that spot. The Hawks really do play well. Like I know, it's something that we kind of watched last season. I see they play well at home on Fridays. They're 8-3 straight up, and against the spread at home, 2-1 straight up, and against the spread as a dog at home on Fridays, and they don't play again until Tuesday. So this to me does kind of scream, Atlanta. I haven't gotten there yet because I want to get them as a dog, but I did lean Atlanta pretty heavily. Just didn't get involved quite yet.
Gotcha. Yeah, the situational spot does make sense. Also coming off a hard-fought game against the Celtics, Pacers twice. Yeah, definitely probably would have taken out a lot from this Sixers team. And then on this game against the Celtics, some of the starters did play some heavy minutes, 38, 37, around there. 30, 39, 37, 37. And then they're also dealing with depth issues and stuff like that. So it makes sense to me. Overall, I just stayed away from this game. Did you guys touch any props?
No, but I did have a question for you guys just overall about this in-season tournament, right? Because these are group play games. Do you think there's any, I guess, for lack of better words, extra motivation, like for the teams that haven't won a group stage game yet, that you have to be a top 2 seed in your group to advance to the knockout stage? Do you guys take that into consideration when you're looking at these games on Fridays, or is you're just capping it as a regular season game?
I'll go first. I think this kind of reminds me of like the knockout rounds, or like in soccer, how like you kind of look at the matchup, you know what I mean? Like you look at the matchups where you can seed yourself and all that stuff. I think this is a situation that it could play out the same way. I think teams that are on the top facing the lower lower tier teams, could be a situation where they chill, right? Because they're already locked in. And then the bottom team that possibly has a chance, like they got to win or they're out, they probably go hard. And that could be the situation we see today. But there's also, we heard an interview not too long ago where someone was like, "What the hell is a in-season tournament?" Right? Like,
yeah.
So I think we gotta do is figure out which teams are taking this seriously versus who aren't, and that should be able to tell us a lot. But yeah, that would mean you have to listen to all these interviews and figure that out kind of on our own. But Chris, what are your thoughts on it?
I think I kind of agree with you guys. I'm not like a soccer handicapper, so y'all would know more, as far as the format goes. But I think you just look at the records now. I see, like, and I think, like the each team only plays each other one time, right? So some of the teams have been eliminated already. Well, not all the way, but like if you started 0-2 like the Pistons and the Spurs, like you might not be getting up for this game, as much. But I think when you take the in-season tournament was for like motivation. Like Adam Silver wanted the league to capture more attention and to have competitive basketball earlier in the season to kind of attract more viewers, right? So when I think about in-season tournament, I'm thinking about teams really trying to win, and I'm also thinking about like so I'm looking at motivation completely. Like, do you still have a chance to win? So for instance, the Pacers, right? They're not playing today, but they're 2-0 in tournament games. They won both of them as a dog. They beat Philly and they beat the Cavs. So when the Pacers play again, like I'm absolutely thinking that they're trying to take the in-season tournament serious. You know what I mean? And for Atlanta, the game that we're talking about here, Atlanta's 1-0 in the in-season tournament play as well, because I think they beat Detroit on last Thursday. So in that instance, I do think them being at home on a Friday night, being 1-0, Philly is 1-1, so they could like be tied with the Pacers. So I do think that with them losing their last game against the Knicks, that's even extra added motivation. They're gonna know it's a tournament game because they're gonna have an ugly red floor today. So I do think that you just got to cap it for each team. I think is what I'm trying to say.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. It's the matchup and the situation, not only just like what we normally cap, but also where they are in the standings.
Also, last point I'll make, RC, is that you brought up the soccer kind of format of the knockout stage. Like point differential also matters.
Yep.
For these teams. So I went back and looked when the tournament games actually started on, I think it was like November 3rd, and the over, I think, is cashing at 62% on these Friday games. So maybe we could look at that, when we get through the games here, on the queries. But I think that was something that teams that know that they have to get a point differential, or the teams that know that what the hell is going on, that they still have their foot on the gas even towards the game if they're up by 10, 12 points to get these games going over the total. So, that was something, I don't know if it's just coincidence or if these teams actually know, but I think that was something that was interesting that I found when I was, doing some of these queries.
Yeah, I think at some point, I don't know if they added it yet, but I think at some point they're probably going to add that parameter in the SDQL to pull out.
So I just did it by date. Like I did it like November 3rd is like when the games actually started, and I just did day equals Friday.
Smart guy, RC. He didn't advance us in SDQL.
He made his own parameter. Anything else on this one?
No, not for the news.
All right. Let's move on. We have a few more games on the board. We got Kings and Spurs up next. Man, I don't know. I feel like the way the Kings been playing, that there should be like double-digit road favorites in this spot, in my opinion. But I stayed away from this one altogether. I don't really like it. I know Vassell is out. Trey Jones is doubtful. I mean, like what you guys don't think this should be a double-digit line?
No.
RC, real quick, go check. Let's look at the Kings last year as double-digit road favorites. I'm just curious. I haven't looked at it yet. But I'm curious see how many times they were actually laying double digits on the road.
Oh, on the road?
Yeah, on the road.
Twice.
Not at home. Okay. And it was against the Trailblazers at the end of the season too. Okay. So I don't think so. No, I don't think so.
But look at the points they put up in those two games too.
which is why I'm on that team total, baby. Let's go.
Did you? Oh, wait, what were you on, Chris?
I take the Kings team total over. 121.5 was the number that I got. I think so. Let me. It's not letting me copy this link. All right, so I'm putting this in the private chat, RC, so you can just click on it. But it's a lot of it is what you have right there. Spurs is home dogs. They're giving up 121. I think they are the worst defense in the league right now. I know that they get Kelvin Johnson back, which is good because then I think that helps just a tad bit, even though Devin Vassell has been rolled out. But I think, they just going to struggle. Like, I think they're going to continue to struggle. They don't have a positive defensive player on their team, I think, as far as plus minus outside of Victor Wembanyama. And it's the first leg of a back-to-back as well. It's still a very young team. They host Memphis tomorrow. 6 straight losses with only one of those games actually going covering one of those games. They're 8-2 to the over. In their last game against the Thunder, the Thunder went under their team total by 1 point, but their team total was 123.5. And that was because they kind of, called the dogs off because they didn't need to score anymore. So I think, the Kings should, I think score 125, 130 points. The Kings just scored 125 points, I think, against the Lakers that, are a much better defensive team than San Antonio. And I know that the Kings have the Dallas Mavericks on deck, but they don't play until Sunday. So that doesn't really surprise me. Also, doesn't really scare me away. Also, RC, if you just look at these teams historically. So just type in just look back at the Kings against opponent team equals San Antonio and see how many points they're scoring in those games. I think, they just fit this team really. They know how to play this team really well, and it doesn't seem like they're, not getting up for these games. So just looking at the last couple of years, they've been flying over the total, and the Kings have been scoring in all of them. So I like the Kings team total over 121.5. I think it's up to 123.5 now, though.
123.5.
And they're also back, you got De'Aaron Fox back as well, right? Like when we know that Fox is out there, that pace is completely different when he's on the floor. They like to push the pace. They like getting up and down the floor, and their offense is a lot more efficient as well when Fox is on the floor for this team. So I'm with Chris on this. I'm going to play this here as well for the Kings to go over on their team total. I think the only reason as well that Thunder didn't get their Chris on their team total, I had the over 123.5. I think they only ended up scoring like 26 or 28 points in that first quarter. But I think all the other quarters they had 30-plus points against the Spurs. Yeah,
and then one more point to what you mentioned. I looked at this as well because I did complete a write-up for this for Ozpedia. The Kings this season, in the 5 games that Fox has played, they have an offensive rating of 125.45 with him on the floor. But when Fox goes off the floor, they have an offensive rating of 106. Yep. So, I mean, he contributes 20 points to, positively to their offensive rating. So, yeah, I think the full game over, the number is probably, too inflated just now because I think it's up like 6 or 7 points. But I think the Kings score no matter what. San Antonio's offense has been kind of sputtering and teams not necessarily needing to score as much because San Antonio's offense has been struggling. But I think they do enough at home to get it done here.
They're giving it up in the second half as well.
How many games did De'Aaron Fox miss?
I want to say it was at least like 3, right?
4. He missed both of those games against your Rockets, because y'all swept them. And then he also missed the game against the Thunder because they won that game. Did they beat him? No, they beat the Cavs when he came back. So yeah, it had to be 3 or 4. Just I can tell you, he only played in 5. So whatever 5 subtract however many games they've played so far is how many he's played in.
I don't get why they do this on this damn.
Let me see.
So if it's 10, they are 6-4. So that means he's missed 5.
Yeah, he's played in 5. Right? Yeah. And you take a look at the 4 games the 5 games that he's played in, 130, they scored 132, 132, 125 in victories. And the one loss they had against the Warriors, they scored 114.
Gotcha. So when I look at the Kings as favorites, there's 3 games here. They went over because of OT. This one went to OT too. How much they score? They scored 17 in OT. So in regulation, they were under their team total in 5 of the 7 games as favorites. That's the only thing that I see that could be bad. But other than that, everything else makes with Fox should go over. But if the Kings blow this game out, what if they let off the gas pedal in the second half? Would you guys just focus in on the first half team total instead, or is full game still the way to go?
I think it's a good pivot. I see the first half team total over. But if they let up off the gas, they might have 140 instead of having 160 in this one. So yeah, I still like
I think
still like that 121 and a half.
I think it might just be a point where they have at least triple digits by the end of 3 quarters.
I like it. All right.
Just heads up, Giannis is probable now.
Giannis is probable. All right. Okay. Anything else? Anything from prop perspective on this one?
I see. Keegan Murray, bounce back threes type game for him. We know the Spurs 3-point defense is the worst in the league. They're allowing teams to shoot 40% from the 3-point line. Keegan Murray, since De'Aaron Fox came back, I want to say he hit 5 threes a couple games ago, and he's hit 4 threes in a couple games as well. I know he had a bad shooting performance against the Lakers, but seems like a primetime bounce back spot for a guy like Keegan Murray that's going to get him up. We know Trey Lyles is still not available as well. So that's the way I was looking. I haven't got to the window with that one yet, but I think his number is probably 2.5, something like that.
I'm looking at it now. Where is he? Keegan Murray, 2.5. It's at minus 150. I think a good pivot might be Harrison Barnes, 1.5. That's at even money.
Harrison Barnes.
And he's been knocking them down as well, especially with Fox being back. So, yeah, he had 3 against the Lakers. I know there's a couple games there where he's like 0 for 2, 0 for 4, but I think that the Kings, like Chris mentioned, the Spurs 3-point defense is not very good, so they should be launching them here tonight. If you want to, take Murray and parlay that with Harrison to knock down too, I think you get some pretty good odds on that.
Yeah, fifth most 3-point shots allowed, and then percentage-wise, 29th, 40.3. Damn, you have to look towards some threes over there.
Yes, sir. Yes, you do. 1 + 1 = 2. Shout out to my guy Ski.
All right, let's go. We got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 games left. All right, so we got Nuggets and Pelicans. This is an ugly game to me. I lean towards. I didn't take it, but I do lean towards the Pelicans here. Just because the Nuggets offense without Jamal Murray has been so bad. Outside of that first game without him, their offense has been terrible. But at the same time, they played some. I think they played some decent teams. If we go to Nuggets here, scored 108, 104, 111. Some decent defensive teams here. If you go towards the Pelicans, their offense has looked better, but if you look at who they faced, they faced the Mavericks twice, who are one of the worst defensive teams in the league, if I'm not mistaken. Should be in the bottom somewhere. Yeah, 25th in the league in defense. So it makes sense that their offensive rating shifts up. But it came at the same time as when Zion kind of talked about their offense and how they were struggling, and maybe they made changes. Or maybe it's just a coincidence that they played the Mavs at that time. But I was leaning towards the Pelicans here. Maybe a look towards the over. But what are your thoughts on this one, Chris? I'll start with you.
I agree with you that this was probably like an ugly game. RC, like you look kind of what you was talking about. Denver, they really struggle outside of Jokic. So I think you could continue just to play his points, rebounds, and assists to go over. This dude is absolutely killing it. I don't know if people were really paying attention to what he's doing without Jamal Murray being there. Like, yeah, I think it's fair to say Reggie Jackson has stepped up just a tad bit. Michael Porter Jr. sprinkle him in for a couple good games, but Jokic has been killing it. So I kind of stayed away from the side. This is a triple revenge spot for the Pelicans. Denver just beat them earlier this season as well on the 6th. They beat them 134-116 in Denver, and they were laying 6.5 in that spot. For the Pelicans, this is a spot you typically don't want to fade the team in. Third game of a 6-game homestand. It is the first leg of a back-to-back. They got the Timberwolves on deck tomorrow. The way I decided to play the game, I stayed away from the size, stayed away from the total. I played Jokic over his rebounds. It's something that I'm probably going to continue to ride. I just think that from a script perspective, I think without Jamal Murray, their offense is going to continue to struggle. So their defense is going to have to get better. And that's what we've kind of seen. So Jokic, you just kind of look at his number. I played it last game against the Clippers as well. Historically, when you go in and kind of look at his numbers against this team, he's done really, really well against you. And you would think that Jonas Valanciunas is, a pretty big body, but it doesn't really matter. Like Jokic just goes out there and he, gets all the rebounds, even against, the Pelicans as well. I'm trying to pull those numbers up real quick, but the number was 12.5. RC. It doesn't really scare me much. Let's see. So real quick, when he played against him earlier this season, he had 14. He had 18 in the game last year. He did have one with 11, but another one with 16, 12 and 12. So, and then you go through and just look at Jokic's numbers right now. RC, he is averaging 13.8 rebounds, which is the most in the league right now. And it's 22 rebound chances. The number has gone way up over the last 5 or so games without Jamal Murray being there as well. So that's the way I decided to play this one. I just play Jokic over his rebounds because he'll be the guy that's getting all those tip-ins. 17 rebounds is what he's averaging over the last 5 games, RC. So that's how I decided to play this game.
That makes a lot of sense to me. 17. You said 17?
He's averaging 17 in over the last 5 games.
What was the number?
12.5.
Oh shit, that's a big gap. Mina, what do you think on this one?
Yeah, same thing as what Chris mentioned. I did play the over 21.5 rebounds and assists combined for Nikola Jokic. But if you also take a look at the Denver Nuggets on the road this season, man, they haven't been very good, especially offensively. And now you don't have Jamal Murray either. I know they're 2-2 straight up on the road, but just 1-3 against the spread. They're only averaging 107 points per game on the road thus far this season. So in those 5 games, but I lean with the Pelicans here. I agree with you, RC. Zion mentioned the comments about, trying to buy in to what's going on. They did respond in a big way against the Dallas Mavericks. I think this is a good spot for them at home here tonight, going up against the defending champions.
Look at this too. With the Nuggets going from home to, I know you mentioned just road specifically, but
yeah,
when going from home to road, going from elevation to not, they struggle even more because if you just go to road, that one game that's missing, they did go up and over 11.5. Obviously, I'm pretty sure this one had Murray. But when you go back and say that they're coming from home and then going to road, all 3 of the games go under. Would this be a spot where you just take the Nuggets team total under versus the Pelicans +5?
Yeah, I couldn't talk you off of it. I think that for the Pelicans, I'm trying to look up what their defensive rating has been over the past couple games here. I know Herb Jones did play in the last game against the Mavericks. I think that's obviously a boost for that team. They are number 18, but let me filter this down to last 5.
I know they limited the Mavs under by like 10 plus.
Yeah.
In the last game, but prior to that, I think they gave up a lot. 136, yeah. So limited the Rockets, Mavs smashed, and then they limited the Mavs in the second game. I feel like this is a spot where the Nuggets might struggle. They continue to struggle offensively.
I think so too. Yeah. What's the total on the game?
226. Or let me look at it.
I think it came down to like 224, right? Which makes
sense. I see 226.
Oh, it's 226. Yeah. Okay.
225.5 at circa. Yeah, so it's moving around anywhere between 226 and 225. I might look at this. under. I'm gonna look at this under. Probably the full game under. I feel like I don't expect the Pelicans to continue playing offensively like how they did against the Mavs. So if they come down a little bit, Denver continue to struggle. It's probably a full game under. Okay. All right. Anything else on this one, or should we move?
No, nothing
1, 2,
else.
3, 4. We got. All right. So this one, Magic versus Bulls. Bulls 2-point faves. Total is still 215.5. Yeah. Shoot, it's up to 2.5 now. Even see some threes. So markets on the Bulls. Any thoughts on this one, guys? Munaf, I'll start with you here.
Yeah, I mean, I've been riding the Orlando Magic in the first half. That's been a cash cow. I think they've played either 10 or 11 games. They've only had one loss against the spread in that first half, and straight up as well. And if you want to take a look at their net rating and the differential, especially in the second quarter, I think that's something that jumps off the page here for the Orlando Magic as well. So, and historically, or not historically, I should say, but this season, when they are up in that first half, they've been coughing up the leads in the second halves, in multiple games this season. I think especially in all their losses, the opponents have to come from behind and win those games. So I took Magic first half, and if you want to take a look at them in the second quarter as well, as a kind of a derivative play there. But that's a look I had for this game.
Yeah, that's a huge gap in the second quarter. And then they lose it out in the second half.
Yeah.
Worst offensive rated team in the second half. RC, I think it's like 99 point something. They really know how to blow a lead. Yeah.
Is it more so on the road too than at home?
I think it's both. They just come out and get big leads, and then they're, like you can't really hold on to it.
So it is both as far as like offensive efficiency, but the net rating would be a lot worse on the road than at home. That's a big gap. That's almost 10. That's more than 10 points.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
What was this like? Damn, that second quarter is crazy.
I'm trying to find a number for that second quarter right now.
Well, I took the Bulls -1.5 last night, so I have some positive CLV on this one. Chris, did you have anything on this game?
I'm not. So I was on Magic first half in the last game as well. I'm not touching this one from a side, but I am playing DeMar DeRozan over his points. The number is 20.5. I think I saw it on Bet365. 20.5 for DeMar DeRozan. He's over in 3 of his last 4 games, 4 of his last 6 games. And he's the fresher guy. We know he missed the last game for personal reasons. And this is strictly a narrative play. I actually got a quote pulled up real quickly. He said, so after shooting 3 for 14 on Monday in Milwaukee, DeRozan said, quote, "It won't happen again. Simple as that. I don't make too many guarantees, but when I do, it tends to go in my favor." So I'm going to take him at his word. I'm going to say that DeRozan goes over his 20.5 points. I like it from, a number standpoint. I think it's a pretty buy low spot. He's the fresher guy. Like I said, 4 for 6 over his last 6 games this season. And then you just look at him historically against the Orlando Magic. He's played really, really well as well. 19 points in the game that they played earlier last season. But he also has a game of 32, 41, 29, 41, 29, 23. So that's 6 of his last 7 games. He's actually going over this number. So I think it's a buy low spot for DeMar DeRozan. I take him over 20.5 points.
He's officially in? Or is he probable?
I think he's probable, but he said I think that they were expecting him to miss the game for personal reasons, that he was going to be back on Friday.
Gotcha. And then Caruso's in too. Or he's probable. I like that. All right, cool. Well, like I said, I took the -1.5. We'll see how it goes. Anything else to add here on this one, Mina? No? Okay.
No.
Suns and Jazz. I think maybe this line shifted because I think I put this line in before they said Booker. No, it's still 5.5. 237 is the total. This one's funky to me. I think Beal is still doubtful too. I don't think they upgraded him yet.
So Bill got a report. Well, I know. I was about to say, just say he officially out for 3 weeks, about 3 more weeks. The report came out as soon as the show started.
Damn, that's crazy. They still haven't played together yet. All right, Chris, anything on this one?
It might not happen, RC. Nah, nothing for me on this one. I didn't I like this is the game just didn't really interest me a lot. I think when you look at the Suns, their offense is going to be pretty elite with just Devin Booker coming back and having KD out there. So I think you could always like look towards the team totals to go over. I think that historically these games go over as well. There you go, right? Well, that's just the Jazz's home dogs. But yeah, I think a lot of the times I think last season I see it was the Jazz kind of like not playing a lot of defense in the first half. So I think a lot of their games went over in the first half, and then the altitude kind of sets in and you can't score as much in the second half. The pace kind of slows down. So that was my lean, just first half over. I think both teams come out and score the ball early, but I didn't play anything in this game.
Real quick, what do you think about Suns team total over? I'm looking at this here, Jazz's dogs, 8-1 to the team total over for their opponent.
It can't guard anybody else. Yeah, I would agree.
That's what I'm saying. And then you have Suns who I think I feel like they've been playing a lot better. So last 4-1 to the team total over. Oh, they did have an OT game here. Suns team total over. I just feel like that's 237. Dang, that's kind of high.
Those games didn't have a lot of those games didn't have Bill in them though.
Yeah.
And real quick, RC, let me see if I can find that number for you real quick. The Suns are a completely different team with Devin Booker on the floor versus him being off the floor. Let's see that. So their offensive rating so far in the 3 games that he's played with him on the floor is 125. So that's up there with Fox and the Kings. With him off the floor, it's only a 112. So about 13-point differential between the offensive rating with him on the floor versus off the floor.
How many points have they put up with Devin Booker and KD on the floor?
Let's look that up. Per game, so 120 almost 121 per game. Suns 108, 104. Is that first game of the season? Yeah, that was.
Yeah, that was first game of the season.
Then you got Wolves.
132.
Man, they put 133 against the Wolves.
The Wolves did a bad spot the other day, RC. Remember, there was like second game in.
Gotcha. Yeah.
Back to back, 3rd and 4, 5 and 6, 5 and 7, all that good stuff.
I'm gonna take a closer look at that Suns team total over. What is it?
I see 121.5.
Oh, 121? Yeah. Yeah, I like it.
I think they could do that pretty easily. Okay, all right, let's go 2 more. Lakers and Blazers. How do you even back the Blazers in any way? Did you guys have anything on this
Lakers
one?
in any way?
Yeah, that's true too. They fucked me.
I think looking at I'm not wanting to back the Lakers at all, but they are coming off a loss, and this is a tournament game. We're going back to in-season tournament, and the Lakers are one of the undefeated teams left in what are they in bracket A? Yeah, so it's them and the Jazz. We don't think the Jazz are going to win today. And if the Lakers win, and they should win, even if they don't cover the spread, they'll be the only undefeated team in West Group A. Yeah, so one thing that I've been thinking about when I look at these tournament games and these tournament teams I see is I've been really kind of honing in on the teams that have these superstar talents that take up all the salary, right? So LeBron and AD kind of demand all the salary. I think what that does for players, for teams that have guys like that, is they do want that extra $500K, right? So outside of the Lakers and LeBron and AD on this team, like who else wouldn't really want that $500,000? So I think the Lakers really get up for this game. They shouldn't have a problem winning. I think the way I would play this game is I would look at Anthony Davis over his blocks. He's been leading the league in blocks, been kind of crushing that number left and right. I think he could also pivot towards his points. Last year, when they got to the playoffs, it was bad game, good game, bad game, good game. He's coming off a game where he was going up against a bonus, and I want to say he had close to single-digit points. He came out after the game and said he played, he had a shitty performance. He couldn't blame it on the injury. So I do think that he bounces back in his spot. Over 24.5 points if this game isn't a blowout, I think is a good look. But just something that I lean towards. Didn't play anything.
Real quick, because just because when I pulled up the in-season stats, I think the Suns make a lot of sense because they're 0-1 here, right? They should.
Mhm.
I mean, if they want to stay in it, they're probably going to want to win. They're probably going to want to win by margin. That means they're going to put up a lot of points, right? Because you brought up the point differential, earlier that's going to be important later on. You got the Lakers 2-0. You got the Jazz 2-0. Phoenix, I feel like they're going to want to smash, dude. So
yeah,
that team's
I see.
Yeah.
I see. Real quick, I forgot to mention this. I had this in my notes. I had Suns first half and full game team total over. And this is what I wrote down. I wrote Jazz giving up the fifth most points per game over the last 5 games. Their bottom 10 in opponent 3-point makes last 5 games, and bottom 5 in opponent 3-point field goal percentage. And that's what the Suns have been doing. They just really want to, make you commit to, and then they kick it to a wide open shooter. I think that was pretty evident in their home game against the Timberwolves the other day.
Makes sense. I like it. I think I'm actually going to take it later. All right. So back to this one, the Lakers Blazers. I think the last time it was I've been taking the Blazers team total under. Do you think that's still a way to go, or do you think that it's kind of gone, like the value of that type of play has gone away? I've taken them the last 2 games. I think it was. Let me just double check.
Check the Lakers defense as well, RC. Lakers defense on the road, because I don't think it's been that great, honestly. But the Blazers, like, I know you was only against Portland because we talked about it. And
the last 2 I took
against the Cavs. I mean,
because they got. I mean, I know Skylar Mays or whatever. He played well in that first game when both Simons and Brogdon was out. Then after that, they've just been struggling to put up points on the board. They don't really have a true point guard, in my opinion. I feel like I would look in that direction again, but like you said, their Lakers defense isn't that great. And if we go on the road, it's been unders.
Look at it after a loss too, RC, just to see if it's a motivational spot at all. This is something I didn't check. Or just after a loss.
Oh, after, okay.
Yeah, just after a loss. 1-2 and 1 to the under in that spot.
4-1 to the under.
Okay.
A full game under?
Those were against really good defenses, though. Suns, Magic, Heat, Rockets.
Oh, yeah,
the Blazers haven't been scoring a lot at home either. I think a lot of their games do go towards the under.
Trailblazers?
Yeah, at home this season. I know it's a small sample, but
yeah, for sure. Oh yeah, and then the only reason why they went over here is because of OT.
Yeah,
that makes sense. Yeah, I feel like what up, Ski?
No, hell no, God.
Ski, what up, Ski?
Hey, you hired a producer yet?
What up? Nah,
Oh,
I need
yeah,
one.
Gotta fix your banner, Ski.
I gotta fix everything.
Blazers team total, man. I think this might be why I stopped doing Let's Cap, because I just want to play everything now.
Let's hear from Ski. Ski, Lakers and Blazers, man. What we doing? We skipping it? Is it backward? What we doing?
Well, I talked it out on my show just now, and there are reasons to look at the over, look specifically at the Lakers team total over. Reasons where my boy Dan Kelly pointed out this in-season tournament. A lot of these teams today, like, they had motivation to run up the score because it goes by like point differential or something like that. So combination of that, Lakers have already said, like, they care about this in-season tournament. And you can maybe type this in there. I didn't look at it today, but Itachi, he's called it out a couple of times on my show. He called it out today. But you know that if you know under, Ronald.
Yeah.
But like put it as the over the past like 2 years or past couple of years or something like that.
So just do the opposite?
Yeah.
Me.
So that says it was like a pretty good angle on the over. And I just look at the Lakers defense, last 5 games, they're bottom 10. They're playing that top 10 in pace. So I just wanted to cut out the Blazer side because I don't really trust their offense. They've been looking shaky. lately. So just Lakers team total over was the direction I chose to go in that game.
Lakers team total over. So So the total would be greater than the previous total?
Yeah.
I can send it to you in the private chat if you want me to, RZ.
Oh, you have it already? Okay, yeah. Can you just
Yeah.
send it so I don't have to write it?
Yeah, hold on for 1 second. Let me find it.
Hey, did you have anything on the Suns game, Ski?
I want to get there with the Suns. I haven't yet. I don't have like any queries or anything, but I just feel like, it's that time that we start to trust the Suns. They're starting to look really good. All the last 5 game stats favor them in the categories I care about.
I was looking really hard at the team total over. Sort of like basically your logic on the Lakers for this game, but the Suns for their game because they're 0-1 in the tournament. 0-1 in the tournament, and they're gonna want to win this game by margin probably. Because if it gets to the point where they're tied with someone, like you said, that point differential is going to be key.
Mm-hmm. So only thing that bothers me there is Suns ain't really been playing to a tempo lately. But I do think that the Jazz, can be taken advantage of, like their defense.
Yeah, Jazz is going to push it probably. Suns probably don't have a problem with it.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not mad at that team total overlook. I just probably prefer the Suns side. I didn't bet it yet though, but I prefer that side. And I don't know if you guys talked about it yet too, but I was trying to find reasons to back either, like I want to back the Kings, and I also want to back the Hornets plus or the Hornets team total over.
Shit, it is the opposite. Trailblazers, Lakers over.
Did it show anything good up there?
Yeah, it's pretty good. Almost 60% to the over.
I think if you look specifically at like the past few seasons, it's even better. But that's you get the idea.
Yeah. So it flipped here in 2021. Last season was really good. Starting off this season, 5-1 to the over. Kind of points towards.
I'm about to add it.
It kind of points towards the home team too. Look, all these profitable, except for this one. Who's home?
Portland home. They don't point to them without
Yeah.
Hennessy.
Look that. It's like, yeah. Shoot. That takes me off of that Blazers team total under then.
Well, you were liking Blazers team total under?
Yeah, because I took them twice in a row, and it's been pretty good. Like it's pretty easy, pretty easy wins the last 2 times, but
damn, the query with the home dog has the home dog scoring the points, huh?
That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. Like I don't want to. Probably gonna stay off of that one. I already have enough on my card, anyways. Probably gonna add that Suns team total over though. All right, so we got one more. Last game, Rockets, Rockets and Clippers. Ski, what you got on this one? I know we're on the opposite sides here.
Yeah, I just feel like the Clippers are favorites for a reason in this one. It's no reason why they've lost this many games in a row. The Rockets are on this big win streak, and the Clippers line should come out -7.5. Other than if they're really expected to win this game by margin, so they've had some time to be off as far as a couple of days rest. That gives them time to fix whatever they were doing wrong, and I think they did it with Westbrook coming off the bench and man in the starting lineup. So I think the Clippers start to trend in the right direction starting in this game, and the Rockets haven't shown us anything so far on the season on the road. So I think they'll be 0-3 after this game. I think it's a double-digit loss for Munoz Rockets.
You played the full game, Ski?
Yeah, I like the Clippers full game.
Okay. I was looking at the first half, RC. I think the Clippers like this peak motivation because you done lost 6 straight games in a row, and in the Rockets, this is gonna be their first home game since the 2007 season. First away game because they literally have been at the crib for forever. I don't think I've seen a team have an 8-game homestand. Like they literally been at the crib for 8 games, and they've won. Like Ski said, like was it 6 straight, 5-1 against the number.
Mm-hmm.
And then the Clippers also they don't play again until Monday, and they've got the Spurs on deck, so they're not looking ahead to that at all. I sent you a query RC that says that the Clippers come out strong in this spot just based on the number. So I know that the Rockets have also had some time off. Like they it's not like they necessarily. I think they got 4 days off in this spot too. They're probably feeling themselves because they've been playing so well. So I like the Clippers in the desperation spot early in this one. Didn't get there quite yet because when I was capping the games last night, the first half number wasn't out, but it should be around 3.5. And I think that they really turn up. I think, Ty Lue, kind of like what Ski said, he's saying all the right things. They kind of pressing the right buttons. And eventually you get embarrassed if you keep just like, it's embarrassing to keep losing when you got 4 Hall of Famers at the end of the day on the team. So I saw a quote from Tyronn Lue telling, PG that he was a bad MFer. And I think, they lean on PG because he's been the more dynamic scorer of the 4 and Kawhi being second. So, I think they get right today as well, but I like the first half a little bit more.
First half or first quarter?
First half. I'm all first quarters. Yeah, first quarters for the birds for me. I can't get one of them right.
Damn. Munaf, what do you have anything on this one?
I think I agree with Ski here because you also take a look who the Rockets have played in those home games. They had Kings twice, but that was without De'Aaron Fox. You play the Lakers without Anthony Davis. You beat the Pelicans, but the Pelicans choked it away in that fourth quarter. And then you beat the Nuggets without Jamal Murray. So now you're going up against a team that has, James Harden. I don't know if you want to talk about a revenge angle or he's going to get up for this game against his former team. You have Kawhi Leonard, you have Paul George. So there's a lot of guys on the Clippers team that this Rockets team has to defend. I know I think they're number 1 rated defensive team over the last 5 games. But like I mentioned, those teams that they played at home, most of the teams were missing a superstar or a star player. Now you're going up against a Clippers team that, again, desperation. They're back at home. They've been pretty good at home. I think they're 3-1 against the spread at home are the Clippers. I like the angle of them early, and I think they probably win by double digits here, do the Clippers. I know it sounds crazy, but it's something similar to what we saw with Minnesota and the Phoenix Suns line the other night. Like, why was the Suns favored by 6 points against a Minnesota Timberwolves team that are the best defensive rated team in the association right now? And they blew the doors off of the Suns against the Wolves in the first quarter, first half, and full game. So I think we may see something similar here tonight with the Clippers against the Rockets.
Damn, I'm by myself on this one. I took the Rockets. Obviously, the market's going in your guys' direction. But this whole rest thing is what I use. And then when I looked into it deeper, my model actually had it as a -1 for the Clippers. So there's a lot of value there from a model perspective. I have this query. I have the fact that I think I was telling Yuski that they're one of the better perimeter defenses in the league. The Rockets are, and a lot of the times, I think the Clippers are trying to score from the three-pointer, and also on points off turnovers. So we see Clippers scoring 33% of their points there. Yeah, points off turnovers. The Clippers are around 17 to 18% there. But if you go to turnovers, Rockets are one of the best teams at not turning the ball over. And then you look at opponent, I think it's this one, points off turnovers. Obviously, that because of that, they're not giving up a lot of points. There are just some things that I saw that were kind of canceling each other out. Obviously, too, with Westbrook moving to the bench as well. Obviously, they already made some roster adjustments, right? Because they just got Harden. Now they're going to switch it up again. You don't think that there's going to be some stuff off offensively for this team with another change within the last week or so?
No. Harden and Westbrook cannot. No, I'm not going to say cannot, but when this trade happened, my thought process is you don't want both of those ball dominant guys starting on the floor together. Like, what are you going to do? Put Westbrook in the corner? It's going to be the same result as the Lakers. Put Harden in the corner. He don't want to do that. And he's going to be, looking terrible, bringing the team down. So now when you split them up, Harden is more than capable of running the starting unit, and Westbrook strengthens the bench because Westbrook, as much shit as I give Westbrook, he can make that bench better. So yeah, I like what the move that they made.
I mean, the thing the first time when I saw this morning that he requested to go move to the bench, my thought process was the coach wasn't even strong enough to tell him that he was supposed to come off the bench to begin with. I feel like that was the right move, when James Harden came through, but they tried to force it. Like, to me, that tells me that something's off, maybe in the locker room. I don't know, or the
Ego,
coach just
man.
doesn't have. He just got no balls. It's like I don't know.
You
In my
gotta let
opinion,
them throw
it
them
should
out
have been
there
the
and make
first thing they
them
did.
throw them out there and let them see that it don't work. So somebody got to put their ego to the side.
Yeah,
The same reason it didn't work with them in Houston when Russell Westbrook and Harden were in the same backcourt. So
yeah,
and you just saw Westbrook standing in the corner and Harden just going one-on-one ISO ball, and that's the reason it didn't work in Houston. So, and Harden's not going to go to the bench. His ego is too big for that. So it was, Russ, as much as shit we all give him, I mean, he's a team player.
You can't put the system on the bench, Relax.
That's fucking crazy. I can't believe you said that shit. All right, well, so that's we went through every single game there. So that's the end of the show. Let's just go round robin. Drop whatever you want to drop. You could just do a best bet or whatever all plays that you want to drop for the viewers here. Ski, I know you missed most of the show here, so we'll just go with you first and see what you got or what you want to drop, and also anything you want to promo.
Well, just like you, find my work at Wagertalk.com. I have a couple of best bets up for tonight, and they've been pretty good. But best bet for this show, I will go with. We talked about two games. I'll go with one of them. I'll go with the Lakers. I mean, we gave raisins, or looking at the query, it said that Portland should score two, but it's hard for me to trust that second worst offensive rated team in the last 5 games to put up those points. So I will trust the Lakers, their pace, and them just needing, with the end season tournament, the point differential thing. I'll trust them over their team total of 116.
116. Cool. All right, Chris, what you got?
All right, so let's go. I'll give out two. So first one, let's go back. I'll give out a prop in the total. First one, let's go back to the first game we talked about, which was the Washington Wizards getting the New York Knicks. Mitchell Robinson plus money over 11.5 rebounds. I mean, it's almost like if you know too. Long as it's not a blowout, I don't see any indications that he won't be on the floor. I think he gets the offensive rebounds. I think he gets the defensive rebounds. So his rebounds over 11.5, plus 110 on the new ESPN bet is one of my favorite props for today. And then as far as a total, Kings team total over. This one is 1 + 1 = 2 in Ski's words. I love the Kings today. They don't have a look ahead spot, even though they got the Mavs coming up on Sunday. And the Spurs also play with pace. I think I failed to mention that earlier, but they're gonna play with pace. I gave out the numbers with Fox being in the lineup in the 5 games that he's played so far. Their offensive rating is like 125. So yeah, and historically, they just score about 127 against this team anyway. So fast-paced game up and down the floor. They just scored 125 points against the Lakers. They scored close to 120 against the Cleveland Cavaliers. And we're talking about the San Antonio defense. So give me the Spurs, give me the Sacramento Kings team total to go over, and Mitchell Robinson to go over his 11.5 rebounds.
All right. Munaf, what you got?
I'll give you 2 props and then a team total as well. Devin Booker points and assists to go over 35.5. I thought the number was really low. He's had 30 plus points in all 3 games that he's played thus far this season. I think he could probably get over this projection with the points alone. I think that assist will just be an added point on this projection right now. And again, him being the primary ball handler now, with him being back, he's been racking up the assist as well. And we talked about the Joker, Nikola Jokic, against the Pelicans. I mean, without Jamal Murray, it's been Nikola Jokic. So I took his rebounds and assists to go over 21.5. You want to put on the triple-double as well. That's still at plus money for the Joker here tonight. And then going back to that Suns game, give the team total over 121.5 for the Phoenix Suns, man. I really like that play here for tonight. I just fading this Jazz defense, especially at home. I think that, again, we talked about this being that in-season tournament with the point differentials and things like that. I think this will be an opportunity where Suns won't be surprised if they put up 125, 130 points in this game against the Jazz.
I like that. That wasn't on my card, but the way we broke it down today makes a lot of sense to me. So I'm probably gonna add that Suns team total over 121.5. So I'll drop one of my favorite plays today too. Knicks team total over 117.5. Talked about how bad the Washington defense is. We didn't go through all the queries that I have for backing the Knicks team total over, but even if you look at, I know the Knicks are in the first leg of back-to-back games, but um, they've done it 3 times already. Three games so far this season. First leg of back-to-back games, they've gone over their team total in all three. So I don't think this is going to affect them. And so that's the way that I did take the spread, but I do like the team total over a little bit more. So I would say that would be my best bet for today's show. I'm definitely going to add that Suns team total over 121 as well. That I think those are the only two that I'm probably going to add that wasn't on my card. The other one that I was looking at, that we kind of broke down was the under in the Nuggets Pelicans too. So I'm probably gonna dive deeper into that one and see if I take that. But yeah, we went through a lot of stuff today, guys. It was a big card. Appreciate you guys for popping in and doing this with me through the whole hour and 20 minutes now. Ski, thanks for popping in after your show. Man, that's it. You can also, you guys can find my stuff at Wagertalk, just like Ski. Going really well right now. Ski, I know you're doing hella good in the regular season. I think you're at like 65% on the season or something like that.
Trying my best, man.
Yeah, it's hella crazy. For me, I am running pretty high right now. 58% on the season, over 58% on the regular season. Hit 15 of my last 19. So seeing the board really well right now. Hopefully we continue cashing out. Me and Ski's gonna battle it to the end here towards the end of the season. We'll see how it goes.
Let's do
on
it.
the leaderboard. But that's peak motivation, man. We get motivated every day again with each other. So with that said, guys, next time I'll probably just do this every Friday because I got shows with Wagertalk on Tuesday and Thursday. But yeah, that's the show, guys. Till next time, fade or follow. Good luck. Peace.